Imagine two very different places to spend your Friday night. On one side of the street is a massive neighborhood tavern. It is brightly lit and anyone can walk right in. Across the street sits a sleek VIP nightclub. It has a velvet rope, a strict guest list, and a bouncer checking everyone's ID. That neighborhood tavern represents state court. These courts have broad authority and handle almost every type of everyday lawsuit, from divorce proceedings to minor car scrapes. The VIP nightclub represents federal court. You cannot just walk in because you feel like it. To get past that bouncer, you have to prove you belong there. That bouncer is checking for something called subject matter jurisdiction. This is the court's actual power to hear a specific type of case. It is the fundamental rule that determines who gets in and who stays on the sidewalk. If you attempt to file a lawsuit in federal court without this authorization, the judge will throw your case out immediately. To get past the velvet rope, you must have the right ticket. There are two main tickets the bouncer accepts. The first is for cases involving a federal question. This ticket is for any claim that involves national laws. If your case is about a U.S. constitutional right, a patent, or a federally registered copyright, it is considered a federal issue. For example, if you sue someone for illegally bootlegging a product you spent years developing under a federal patent, you have a direct line to the club. When you hold this ticket, the bouncer lets you in immediately. They do not need to check your bank account or ask where you live. This ensures that important national rights are always handled in an exclusive federal forum, regardless of any other local requirements. But what if your case is a normal state-level fight, like a car crash or a broken contract? You can still get in using a ticket called diversity jurisdiction. First requirement: plaintiffs and defendants must be from completely different states. A clear border means a green light. But if a Texan sues a New Yorker and another Texan, separation is gone. With same state people on both sides, the bouncer rejects the whole group. This rule exists because of a potential home field advantage. In a local state court, a judge or jury might unintentionally favor their own neighbor over an outsider from a different part of the country. To prevent this, federal courts step in as a neutral referee, but only if the stakes are high. The second requirement for this ticket is that the dollar value of the lawsuit must be more than $75,000. By requiring both a high price tag and a total mix of states, the system ensures that major cross-border disputes can happen on neutral ground, away from any local bias. Now, imagine you get into the VIP club using a high-value ticket after a car accident. But you also want to include a minor $5,000 claim for property damage from that same crash. That smaller claim doesn't meet the $75,000 minimum to get in on its own, but you can bring it in anyway using a +1 on the guest list called supplemental jurisdiction. There is a catch. The smaller claim cannot be about a different, unrelated argument. It must come from the exact same set of events as your main ticket. Because the minor damage happened in the same accident, it gets to ride the coattails of the larger lawsuit into the courtroom. This rule keeps the legal process efficient. It allows one court to settle the entire story at once, rather than forcing you to have two different trials for the same accident. Sometimes a plaintiff decides to file their case in the neighborhood tavern, even though the lawsuit qualifies for a federal ticket. In this scenario, the person being sued can use a move called removal. Only a defendant can do this. If the case meets the federal requirements, they can pull the lawsuit out of the state tavern and force it into the federal VIP club. This protects the person being sued. It ensures a plaintiff cannot trap an out-of-state defendant in a local court if a neutral federal option is legally available. This map shows the 4 ways into federal court, all guarded by the same strict door policy. You can walk through the front door with a federal question, or by showing that you have people from different states and a dispute worth over $75,000. You can also use the +1 of supplemental jurisdiction for related claims, or use removal to move the entire fight from the tavern to the nightclub. The next time you hear about a high-profile case moving to federal court, you will know exactly how the lawyers convinced the bouncer to unclip the velvet rope.